not being cheap with limes. All their lime supply on in college.
Of course you did.
And the reason they store alcohol, it doesn't taste right.
That would be hilarious. Hey. All right, I got my Tim's doctored up drink and then my old standby in case I don't like this.
This is the special edition, Christmas edition podcast. And we have some fine libations we'll tell you about.
Celebrate, celebrate.
What's your favorite Christmas jingle?
Oh, Jesus.
The only one I can think of offhand is Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
There you go.
And that's
I
not
don't
even
know why
Christmas
I'm drawing a blank. I used to listen to Christmas music a lot when my kids were younger. I was big Christmas. And then they got older, and I don't know if I got as psyched about it.
Less festive?
But I do. Well, I used to decorate like that. I had crazy yard and all that stuff early on, just immense amounts of lights, the kind that people drive by to look at. Way on early because, I tend to overdo things.
Just sample that?
No, I haven't sampled it. Let me get it.
Make sure you get a little salt with it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tastes like tequila.
Can you taste the tequila?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Sure. Wow, that's very salty.
That was very limey.
It was very salty. It's very limey. It's like a super lime tequila.
Yeah.
I could probably drink that.
And as it marinates, it'll continue.
For context here, I had a really bad experience. My buddy Jeremy Keeble invited me down to his dorm in college. He was older than me. And he bought a bottle of tequila and got me to drink like 4 or 5 shots. And then, let's do some push-ups.
Oh, God.
And it just wrecked me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, bad. I was horrible.
Yeah.
Just horrible. And ever since then, even smelling it's usually hard for me. Yeah. So it's not ideal.
That similar thing happened to me in college with whiskey because we drank Canadian Hunter, which is a cheap whiskey. And it was pretty good for a cheap whiskey, to be honest. But I drank so much of it when I got out of college, I just, like the smell of it almost makes me feel weird.
Yeah. It's ironic that the issue you have with that is I have whiskey right here because this doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, no, not from afar, but if I was like taking a shot of it up close,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, there's something in the flavor of tequila that even now when I drink it, I'm just like...
It brings back bad memories.
Brings back the horrid memory. But this is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what tequila we got, by the way. I knew it was had a cool bottle, and it was on sale.
Ooh.
It's Epsilon Tequila Blanco. And,
agave, right? It says agave on it.
It says agave, yeah. It's clear.
Mm-hmm. Was this in reference to recently you haven't been to Mexico?
Yeah, I have not been to Mexico. So I had to, supplement my my conquistador.
Ray did teach me how to drink tequila correctly.
Yeah, that's what he says. If he's never had one of these, I don't know.
You blow all your air out. So you blow all your air
shot,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just put some of it, not the whole shot, just put a little taste of it in your mouth, swish it around.
Oh, God.
Drink it. Don't breathe in until it's all the way down, and then breathe in. And it doesn't burn. I was like, I wonder if that works for all whiskey, all alcohol.
Pretty much shots, yeah.
Yeah, it was surprising. Just don't breathe in with it, and that's what makes it burn.
Yeah. The exhale trick that's a trick.
Yeah. It's a G move.
Yeah. Oh, 1 sec. I got a feature to show off here.
Oh, God.
Have you seen anyone driving around with their car wrapped with lights?
Yes, I have a couple, actually.
That's a trend this year.
That's pretty
wonder
wild.
where that's coming from.
I don't know. Oh, the internet, probably, I'd imagine.
Did you think? What was your impression of it? Did you think it was cool, or
not really?
Yeah. You think it was lame?
What is that? A little bit.
Yeah.
I get it though. I mean, people are trying to do their own Festivus thing, right?
Well, I'm feeling pretty Festivus this year. With I think maybe because I'm home for the holiday, or home here for the holidays, and I got a new home, and I've never even really considered even buying a tree. Usually because I'll travel for Christmas, but yeah.
So you don't have a tree?
No, but
Scrooge.
No, I'm going to get a tree.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Like a real one or
fake
fake
a real one, like a little Scroogey one, like a little tiny Charlie Browner.
Like a Grinch tree,
a little Charlie Browner, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
I've always been fond of those. Yeah.
Oh crap.
You good?
Yeah. Hold on. In a podcast.
Well,
Sorry.
'tis the season, and we hung out with Ray, which this is going to precede that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. This
So
is coming out first.
you'll get to know Ray in the next podcast, who's like just got massive hunting experience all over the globe, which is pretty cool. Very a lot of wisdom from that guy.
Oh yeah. No, Ray's got. I don't know anybody who's hunted more.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing the amount of hunting Ray's done over his life. It's pretty impressive. Should be a good listen.
Yeah.
Thought it went well.
But what we didn't do was we didn't really talk about your experience on your hunt to Mexico. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear about that. I want to hear about Mexico. Viva la Mexico.
It's growing.
I've always heard like the old.
growing on me.
Yeah, I've always heard like the old country of Mexico, particularly, which is I think where you kind of were.
Yeah.
Pretty undeveloped, pretty rural.
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
I've always heard the people are amazing.
Yeah, it's like an
it's cool.
Old cow ranch or whatnot.
Like stepping
kind of
back
thing.
in time a little bit, right?
Yeah, very much. Like, yeah, they had off-grid power, solar panels and batteries.
Battery
and
banks.
You had to run a generator at night.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, but with a little couple of creature comforts, had Starlink, so could still communicate with the world, because as soon as you walk away from the house, there's no service anywhere.
And this is your first international hunt?
First international trip.
First time out of the country.
Yeah.
How nervous were you just to leave the country or apprehensive or whatever?
I wasn't like apprehensive to leave the country. I was just concerned, did I have everything I needed correctly?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I've never been like checked at a port of entry or anything like that.
All your ducks in a row?
I had my passport. Neglected to ask, was there something I was supposed to do with it or anything like that? But it went fine. And I honestly, I didn't even ask until like it was time to come back in. And I'm like, hey, but just to make sure, I just needed to sign this thing, right? And Ray's like, yeah, that's it. Don't worry, you're fine. And you just hand them your passport, and they scan it and hand it back to you, and off you go. But yeah, it was. We did get our stuff gone through on the way into Mexico, because they're trying to charge tax on anything that comes in. Right, their duties.
Military checkpoint, right?
Well, the first one, yeah, and then we had there was another independent military checkpoint that's on the highway. If you keep driving down the highway, eventually you run into another one. Mm-hmm. And once again, they're just looking for stuff you're not supposed to have, and if you brought things into the country that you should have paid taxes on to bring into the country. So, but yeah, it was easy peasy. We went through the first one, went into Rocky Point, which is where one of Ray's houses is. We started from Tucson, and then we're at Rocky Point for half hour, 45 minutes, just unloading some stuff, dropping some stuff off. His wife stayed there, and she was with us at first, and then we drove on the rest of the way to the ranch, which was about hour and a half of highway, or 2 hours of highway, and an hour and a half of dirt. Was
it a neat drive, or was it pretty flat?
It was flat, but it was near the ocean, so a lot of times you look over and you can see the ocean, just bits and pieces of it. And the level of quality of roads was quite different. Like, there's potholes everywhere. Like, you got to dodge them, and like 70 miles an hour, you got to get out of the way of a pothole. And the ground's not like the highway's not flat. Like, they work really hard to have everything smooth grade around here. There's like a lot of up and down in it, where you can feel the rig like damn near almost jumping. Like almost equivalent of like bad turbulence when plane lunges kind of feel. But yeah, I mean, it was good all in all. We got once we hit dirt, it was like an hour and a half of a washboard dirt road following a power line in the middle of nowhere. Like, no more houses, no more nothing. There's I don't know if it was natural gas or a power substation that we drove by. I think it was a power substation that had 10-foot concrete walls with barbed wire on the top of it, and like metal 10-foot tall gates to get in and out of it. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize you'd protect a power substation so strongly. But yeah, and finally get all the way up there, and it's a couple of small brick houses. My phone just keeps ringing like nuts. A couple of brick houses, and like the only form of heat is like a little buddy heater, and it's a propane water heater that doesn't really get super hot. Like, it wasn't quite taking a cold shower, wasn't too far from it. But it was just such a neat experience, because everything is so simple and just kind of what you need to have, but that's it. There was a TV, which never watched TV the whole time. I did get on my phone when I got back to the actual house there, periodically check messages, answer messages, and things like that. I was a little concerned if I'd be able to, respond to messages or emails or anything. And I was, so that was good, because realized I had Starlink when we got there. And just I don't want to say desolate, but like my first thought as we're driving through this, going, man, if you walk the wrong way, you're dead. Like it's so dry and it's so vast. Like the scale of the size of a ranch, it's like as far as you can see. Like it goes that way about as far as you can see, and that way about as far as you can see, and there's roads for driving around within the ranch because at one point I think everything was cattle country, and whether they continue to run cattle or not, which also blew my mind. I'm like, what are they eating?
Right.
Like you're looking around, there's not any grass. The ground's popcorn dry, like pop, 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 pop when you step on it. Like I don't know how anybody effectively sneak up on a deer in there, especially like a Sitka, like I was like coos. Yeah, they're so skittish. I don't know how anybody in that environment would be able to sneak up on something. Mule deer maybe, but you're probably not getting super close. It's probably going to be a poke because it is so loud. Like loud, and you can't take your boots off because everything you'd step on would stick through your foot. Like everything's pokey. Everything's pokey. It's pretty interesting. All in all, a great experience. Really enjoyed it. And it was, they had water troughs and feed. So you're just sitting over water and feed in a ground blind. So it wasn't sneaking around on stuff, largely because there was no way you would actually effectively get in on something.
You weren't doing the high rack?
No, that's rifle traditionally. Yeah. And that's, I think they do about 13 tags a year, and maybe 3 of them are archery. The rest of them are rifle. And most of the guys high rack, and that's what all the roads are for.
Right.
So I can drive around. For those that don't know what that means, that's a big metal rack that sits up over the top of the truck that has seats in it with a rail all the way around it for like setting your rifle on. And we did high rack the last day and a half for predators after I'd shot my buck. But yeah, the first 2 days were not good. Like it was very quiet, not a lot of critters, and
How was the weather?
It was 70-ish for a high and high 30s for a low every day.
That's good. Was the wind blowing or no?
Yeah, half of the time when it was windy. And that was a large deterrent. Like if it's windy, they don't come around as much, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was, the first 2 days were not grand as far as like, oh, check this out. Oh, check that out. Right. I think I hunted for 6 days or 5 days. 1, 2. I think the first 2 were pretty slow. But they were windy, and the moon phase wasn't ideal. And then the third day, I started getting a lot of activity. There was one buck on this entire place that were not allowed to shoot, period. Nobody shoots it.
He was the breeder.
He's the breeder buck, and he's like a 3.5-year-old, 200-inch buck with just stuff everywhere. Like he's huge. And that buck came in the day before I shot the buck I brought home.
It must have been cool to watch him.
Oh, dude, for like an hour.
Did you get a good video of him?
Yeah, I recorded some on my phone, took a bunch of pictures of him, and he's just standing there, 25 yards, quartering away, not a care in the world. I'm just like, oh, this is so painful. When I took Dougie with me on the hunt we went on last year, he got that. There was a 3.5-year-old, 160-inch whitetail standing in front of him, broadside 20 yards, and he couldn't shoot it. And for like a half hour, like of course that's what happens. But yeah, it stood there for a while, and there was this really giant 2-point, which traditionally a 6-year-old buck with like a 28, 30-inch wide buck is not a 2-point. And they touched horns once, and that the breeder buck went the other direction and just started walking off. Yeah, there should be some you can throw in there. And the 2-point then walked off a little bit later, and Ray looked at me and said, "Hey, if that 2-point comes back in, you shoot him. Doesn't count as my buck I'm hunting." Which is then I was like piqued my interest, but that buck had been in there for 45 minutes and never gave me a shot. Like the whole time he was facing straight at the blind, or standing between the blind and the feeder, or just facing the wrong direction. Right, not a good viable opportunity. And the next day, so I didn't shoot anything that was the morning. Came back that evening and sat in the same one, and the second deer we saw, or the third deer we saw, was that 2-point. And he comes marching right in, goes to the back of the feeder again, faced me the whole time, goes to this other bucket that's got raisins in it, which is it's like rejects or something, but deer love them. But feeding that, and then he turns and walks over to the water trough and stand sideways, broadside, right in front of the water trough, and just touched it off perfect. And he went zipping down the road, and we just waited till dark to see if anything else would come in, and then went and got him and took him back. So that was my bonus buck, my management buck that I didn't have to, pay a fee for being on, which was cool. And I, got me a little more jived up to it because I'd been sitting there for 3 days without seeing something. And the impression, Ray's like, yeah, probably day 2-ish, you'll probably shoot your buck, and then we'll go predator hunting the rest of the time and try to manage predators. I'm like, cool, I'm down with that. So the first 2 days were skunked, and the third one, great. And then we get out of there, and then we go in the next day, and I'm trying to remember what's that. Yeah, that evening. Sorry, before I get past that, Ray was looking out of the corner of the blind, and he saw this buck that he thought was the buck we were trying to get. Which we actually saw him on the road while we were driving past this one, going to the next one because we were filling up water troughs and putting feed in, that kind of thing. And saw him off the side of the road about 100 yards, and he just stood there looking at us. And I got a good look at him then. Well, Ray was pretty sure he saw him that evening, but it just got dark on us. He never came in before dark. And so the next morning, I'm trying to remember whether we saw a couple of deer that morning, and then went in, came back that evening, sat that evening, and it was for an hour and a half, 2 hours before dark, that a couple of deer had come in and they skidded off, and then this buck comes around the corner. He's walking in, and Ray's just like, "That's the buck." And I was
Ray sitting with you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The day, I take that back. He sat with me the whole time. The day before, a nice, not quite old enough, symmetrical 4-point was standing in front of me that I could have shot. And he's like, "You can shoot him if you want, but he's only probably 4, and he'll get bigger." So I didn't shoot him, and he was probably 165-inch mule deer, somewhere around there. Not huge for Sonora by any means. And didn't shoot him. First time I actually saw, that would have been the biggest mule deer I've ever killed in my life. It was the first time I actually passed an animal that was bigger than anything I'd ever shot and chose not to shoot it. And I was proud of myself because that was hard because I'd been sitting there for like 3 days and not seeing anything I could really shoot. But in any event, that was previous. And then this buck comes in the next day, and it was it's 180-inch. I think it's like 6x5 or something. It has a bunch of stickers.
The breeder buck?
No, this was the buck I shot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he comes in and faces me a ton while he's eating and feeding and never gives me a shot. And he, gosh, this is probably 15, 20 minutes of watching.
Let me see the photo on your phone of this thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pull it up real quick. Find it. Hang on. Got a bunch of pictures in here. Let me see this. Photos. There we go.
Just so you guys know, I don't get the he's down, I got one text because
I don't tell him anything because I want him to authentically find out. And then they talked me into. I got back at the shop and everybody wanted me to talk about it. And Tim was in there, so he kind of got a little bit.
Well,
of
that's okay for me to know at surface level.
There's I don't know if it's 8x6 or what it was. I don't remember exactly.
Oh wow!
It's just a bunch of trash coming off of him. In any event, he's facing the feeder, then he's facing the raisin bin, and he turns and decides to walk in between the two and walk over and get water. And as soon as he did that, I drew my bow back really fast, anchored in, had to get up and shift in the chair for where he ended up going to. And I got hasty and impatient, and he was quartering hard, and I shot him quartering hard and hit him a little low. And he runs off, and Ray was just like, "You shot him right in the heart. That's perfect." And we get out there, and there's blood, but there's stomach stuff and whatnot. And the angle that I shot him at, we gave him a half hour. Angle that I shot him at, you'd have probably hit the stomach before you would have got into the chest cavity, right? So I kind of expected as much. And following blood. And it's different following blood in that ground. Like the ground sucks it up so fast that it doesn't look.
It looks really old too, right?
It looks really old, and it doesn't look like it's the right color, right? Mm-hmm. It's weird. But in any event, following it about 60, 70 yards, and I look up, and there's a freaking deer running away. So we bumped him. So we tracked it a little bit farther until we lost light, and then decided, all right, we're leaving. We'll come back in the morning, which I wasn't super jazzed about because there's a lot of predators down there, and he's gonna get eaten. But if you can't see the tracks without the light, and follow the blood very well, because it's hard to follow blood in that. Like it was much harder than I thought. Any event, come back the next morning with Ray and two of the other guys or three of the other guys from the ranch, and followed him a little farther and found him all stoved up and dead. Coyotes had got to him. So his one of his back legs was pretty much gone, and a bunch of his stomach stuff's gone. But and he was stiff as a board. He probably got up, ran, bedded down, and died immediately. But it's hard to track in that stuff. But it's impressive. The guys who really understand that terrain and that ground, they're like walking along like normal speed, following. I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, it was amazing to me how fast they could follow it. But yeah, the guys helped me find it, and was a monster buck. Like, I'll get it mounted on shoulder mounted on the wall, and I don't know if I'll ever kill a bigger mule deer, but I had a great time. It was a really good place. Saw all kinds of critters. Hunted coyotes last day and a half, and we did 3 hunts, and 2 of them it was windy as hell. And if you're trying to call coyotes, that doesn't work very well.
Right.
And Ray would go out he'd like park the truck. I'd stay in the high rack. And he'd go out like 50 yards or 40 yards, and then move his call off farther than that, turn the call on, or sit back down in his chair, turn the call on, and he's got a shotgun. And then I've got a 22-250 with a scope and a suppressor. And the rule is if they're coming, let them come. Don't try to shoot them. And then if I miss them or they sprint off, blast them. Or if you see them standing out there just looking and they're not coming, blast them. And so I shot at 2 coyotes I didn't get because I was shooting at them running because they were running away after they came in on him, and he didn't get a shot or he missed. And he dusted one the first day, and then the next day I ended up getting one as it ran off, stopped and turned around, looked at him. Whoop. But yeah, we didn't get a ton of action there just because of the wind. But I'd imagine you'd probably have a crap ton of coyote activity down there when it's dry. We had one photo that had 5 different coyotes in it over the water trough in one night. So there's a ton of predators down there. And they don't really, the other ranches don't really hunt predators. So they should if you want to grow your deer population, because those predators are eating those deer.
Yeah.
Especially the mountain lions.
And even if they're cattle farmers, they're definitely going to mess with the offspring.
Yeah, for sure.
And the weak.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's there's 3 different ranches, and 2 of them they have cattle on, and one of them they don't. Or maybe one of them they have cattle on, and 2 of them they don't. I don't remember which. But just to keep the grass down, because the one ranch we went on the last day hasn't had any cattle on it, and there was grass, and it was freaking 4 feet high everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what the cows are eating. I get that.
So what'd you shoot your buck with, arrow setup wise? I
shot it with a Sonic. Or not Sonic, sorry.
5.0?
5.0, yeah. Yep. 5mm 5.0. A titanium 50 grain insert and a 100 grain fatal steel, because I just keep going back to that broadhead because it just works. I don't want to speak negatively of it, because I just didn't see the blood trails that I don't normally see. But I think it's just because of the ground. I just don't think you can see it like you normally do.
You got a pass through?
One yes, one no. So the 6.5-year-old, way bigger deer, like bodied, it was way bigger than the deer I shot. Full pass through, landed on the other side of him. Oh, I shot 2 javelina too. Sorry, I forgot that. Full pass throughs on them. And then the 180-inch buck that I shot, the one I showed you a picture of there, it stuck out the other side, but it's like it hit the other shoulder coming out the other side. So I think it lost most of its energy there. And the arrow was still in the deer, fully sticking out the other side when it got to him. So it was wedged in there pretty good. So, but yeah, in one side, steep angle, out the other side. So plenty of penetration.
Yeah. Describe
and that was a 70-pound bow.
The entry exit of the initial shot on the bigger buck.
Bigger body buck?
Yeah, the big buck.
It was like touching the back edges of the shoulder, full size hole, both sides.
But were you shooting at it perfectly broadside?
Perfectly broadside. Like it touched the shoulder blades on both sides coming out. Like you couldn't have drawn it better. Like put it right there, and that's where it went. Mm-hmm. So that was a good feeling. And then I hadn't gotten. I told Ray this. I do not get excited until after I've shot.
Yeah.
And then the adrenaline starts to go.
I've heard you say that before.
Well, I got excited on this big buck. I admitted it. I got excited. Like I know I did, and I rushed it.
Did you punch the trigger?
I blacked out. I don't even remember.
you blacked out.
I did a full Joel Turner blackout
I
moment.
love a good blackout.
Yeah, I did. I blacked out. I honestly don't remember 100% of what happened, and I haven't blacked out since I was a kid. I don't know what it was. I guess I was just really excited, or like the buildup was too much. That's one of the things that was hard on when it comes time to actually shoot one, is you've usually been watching them for 10, 15, 20 minutes till they finally turn in a manner in which you can pull your bow back.
That's difficult.
And you're sitting there at attention for a long period of time. So your nerves never really calm down. You're always waiting, like anticipating a movement, watching their body language, watching how their shoulders adjust, trying to go, okay, he's turning right, get ready, that kind of thing. And that was brutal. If they just walk in and turn sideways, it's like, all right, cool. It's like your heart rate doesn't get a chance to get up when you're trying to stay calm, which I'm usually really good at staying calm, picking a spot, and not staring at their horns or anything like that. And I couldn't stop looking at his horns. I was so guilty of doing bad. I'm very fortunate, actually. I did not do well in that moment. I just didn't, and I'm a little embarrassed of myself because it's been a long time since I did it.
It happens.
Like a bonehead moment, and that was definitely a bonehead moment. So, but hey, it worked out. Got him, and I have to have him imported because it's another country, and you can't keep the meat anyway. But it does go to waste, whereas the local people usually get the meat.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I shot the other buck, and so they had a bunch of that, and we actually ate the mule deer backstraps the next night after that first one. They were really good.
Did they do it like a traditional or something?
Breaded and
Mexican,
fried.
Breaded and fried.
Yeah, but every other dish was
Didn't put them in a taco or nothing.
nope, just breaded and fried, and then I'm trying to remember what we had with it. It was rice and something else, but all the food was outside of that was all very traditional Mexican, very good. Alex, who's the guide, the main guide there, Ray just helps him. His mom does the cooking, so it's cool. It's just a neat little thing. There's this old cowboy dude that does the skinning, like old dude.
That's what Ray said. He said something about a skinner.
And yeah. You have a guy that you're just paying to skin your animals.
Yeah.
And then what was his name? I'm trying to remember. Takote, I think was his name, was the guy who was really good at tracking. Like we haven't got him, and he's just standing full upright, walking normal speed, just here we go. Like, oh my God. I guess in that environment when you can't track blood, you got to get used to tracking tracks.
Yes.
Right? Because it authentically was very hard to see blood. I mean, I'd find it, but it's like, Jesus. Like if it doesn't hit something that stands out, it's hard to see.
And the tracks are different in a dry environment.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ground's so hard.
Yeah.
Like you can't see the tracks.
Yeah. My New Mexico hunt was really odd that way. I went up into this area and I called in and had a ton of elk interactions. But if I was looking at the ground for sign, I wouldn't have even known there were elk really in the area, minus some scat here and there.
Right.
Because they're not leaving behind prints.
Yeah, because the ground's so hard.
Yeah, it's
wild.
It's a little weird. So traditional Mexican fare, were you doing like guacamole? Was fresh guacamole at the table?
She had a really good salsa that we ate every night.
Yeah. Because avocado's probably got to be in season for guacamole.
Yeah, we had one dish that was almost like guacamole. It was like what you would put in guacamole, but cut up on top of a tortilla with some sauce on it. Mm-hmm. It was a vegetarian dish, and it was good. I ate more than I normally do on that just because I no meat in it, so I don't feel like I'm getting full. But yeah, every dish was freaking amazing, like really good. Made up these like little breakfast burritos to take with you, which we always ate after we sat. They were cold, but still really good. And the tortillas, oh my God, the tortillas were good. I'm sure they were made with lard and just fantastic. But God, it was just so good. The food's good. Place was cool. I mean, it's not like you're staying in a 5-star resort or something, but you're hunting. I mean, who cares? And there was a couple nights that the coyotes came up to the ranch house because they have chickens, and harassing the chickens. And then there's like 5 dogs that stay out there, and they're barking back and forth at 2 a.m. and wake you up and that kind of thing. But yeah, outside of that, I slept good, I rested good. Had a campfire every night with this ironwood, they call it. It weighs like a rock.
Yeah.
It's super heavy.
I'm actually familiar with ironwood.
Yeah, this stuff's heavy. Holy crap. Burns hot though. Burned good. Had a great time, man. I'm still pretty tired. It's been 3 days, I think, since I've been back, but between the probably only sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night instead of 8, and then all the travel, I mean, flying down to Tucson from here is a layover in Denver, and it's like 2 hours and 2 hours plus a layover, and then driving from Tucson to the ranch was about 8 hours ish.
Yeah, and whether you feel it or not, like there's a certain stress involved, I think, with that kind of travel that will suck from you.
Yeah, I agree.
I've caught that happening to me on a hunt before where I just felt absolutely drained. And the only thing I could attribute it to was like I wasn't sick. I wasn't even low on sleep. I was just fried because you're making so many decisions.
Yeah.
Or at least I was. Are we going here? Are we going there? I had a person with me, want to look out for their well-being. And I got all of a sudden one day I just couldn't get any energy. And it was like, that must have been the only thing. But traveling internationally, like there's a lot going on.
Well, yeah, and on the way back was super early morning, and then I got asked to go into Matthews and look at some product or something. They'd asked if I could fly over. I'm like, well, I'm in Mexico right now, so no. I go, what day you leaving? I gave him the day, and he's like, can we change your flight? I'm like, I started looking. I'm like, yeah, I guess I could. So they rerouted me and flew me over there and drove 2.5 hours from the airport to, because Minneapolis was the only place that I could fly into early enough.
Yep.
Where they could come and get me and bring me back, and I could still get a flight back that day because the next day I had Dodd's scheduled to be here, and Dodd's needed to leave at like noon. So I was like, I got 4 hours to film stuff when I get home, and then he's gone, and then I got to turn around and leave again in a week, and he's not going to be back. So then I got to scramble to find other people to film for me because I was out of content because it all got put up while I was gone. So there's too many things going on, dude. It's too much. It really is. But, that was a 24, 25-hour day by the time I actually got home, went to bed from the time I woke up in Tucson.
And I suppose you can divulge everything from what you saw there?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. They made me sign paperwork. Yeah. But
bastards in their paperwork.
Yeah, it was literally 25 hours of traveling with my layover to get to Minneapolis was 45 minutes was all. So I was on a plane, 45 minutes off, on a plane, going, and then get in a car, drive 2.5 hours, there for like an hour and a half was all, and then turn around and drive back 2.5 hours and get back on a plane. I had about an hour from the time I got to the airport till my plane took off. And then that was a 3.5 hour flight, which ended up getting delayed on the runway because it was icy.
I hate that.
And they had to de-ice it. So that was like another 30 minutes.
The good thing about Minneapolis is it's a main flyway for Spokane. So good options coming to and from Minneapolis. That's where I fly when I fly back to Michigan.
Yeah, there was one flight that was leaving Minneapolis, direct flight to Spokane, that was at 10 o'clock at night, their time. It was like the last flight out.
Oh, God.
Figured that would give me enough time. Well, it would give me enough time to be able to, because you got 5 hours of driving, right? Mm-hmm. And then how long do you need me here for? And like, well, an hour or two should do it. I started doing the math and went, I can do it. I'll probably have an extra half hour, 45-minute buffer in there. So it worked out, and my rep came and got me and did that, old Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got home at 1:30 in the morning and had to get up early still. So that was a little brutal. I think I got a full 8 hours last night, or 7 at least, something like that. But yeah, I told you I literally laid down for 20 minutes before you got here. I was like, I'm just going to take a nap for a minute. I'm tired. So hopefully I'll recharge the batteries a little more once I get back to this schedule. But I'm leaving on the 27th again for like 2 weeks. So it's weird.
You need a manager.
I've flown more in the last 3 months than I've flown in the last 4 years combined. Like, it's nuts. I've been flying a lot.
So, conclusion of the hunt.
Yeah.
Is it something you want to go back and do?
I would like to go do it every year if I could. That's a great hunt.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely do it again. I mean, it's the biggest.
Would you do it the same way where you drove in from where you went?
That would all be dependent upon Ray.
Right.
Like if Ray hasn't gone down yet and he's going to leave from there and drive there, I would, because it's cheaper. It's way cheaper to caught my toe on something. Way cheaper to fly into Tucson than it is to fly into Hermosillo, or I think is what it is. I'm sure I'm
You're in the
butchering
ballpark.
it.
That's what
Yeah,
it
it's
said,
something like that. But and I was looking at it because I got offered another hunt that's down there in February, first part of February, that I think I'm going to take. And the only flight down there that's reasonably priced forces you to stay overnight in Phoenix. So you got to fly into Phoenix, stay overnight in Phoenix, and then fly over there. But I did find the same flight that comes out of Nashville. And then it leaves early in the morning, gets there midday. So if I loop ended it around going to Nashville for work, leave there, fly down to Mexico, fly back to Nashville, work a couple more days, fly back here. That's probably doable. So I think I'm going to do that. I'll make that decision this weekend.
So, congrats on the buck.
Thank you.
BBD.
Yeah, he's a big one. He's a big one. They both thought he was bigger than he scored. They both thought he would be at least 185, and he ended up being like 179. But
that's pretty close.
I was like, I don't care any different. That's a freaking great buck, man. That's cool by me. But they've killed plenty of 200-inch mule deer down there on the ranch. So, but once again, it's usually in rifle where you're just driving really slow, like super slow, and just looking for deer all day long.
High racking.
Yeah, like Africa.
Not like your favorite strip joint. Well, break our drink down here. Give it a rating. You're not a tequila guy, right?
Tastes like tequila.
You already talked about that.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing. I would drink this, and I wouldn't complain about it, but I probably wouldn't order it. But that's just because of tequila.
Right.
So now this. TX.
Whiskey.
That's better. I like that flavor better. But Ray introduced me to TX, actually. And that quickly became my favorite whiskey. It's really good. But this is good.
Yeah. So tequila is kind of a dirty rap because we all have a good tequila story from college, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
let's hear yours.
Oh, God. There's a few, I'm sure. But the shots start flowing, tequila shots start flowing, bad things happen. But if you do it like this, and what this is tequila, basically a whole lime cut up, muddled in the bottom, ice, tequila poured over the top of the ice. I'll typically go until about the top of the ice with the tequila. Stir it up, salt on the rim. It tastes like a margarita that's not sweet. It's got more sour than sweet. And I initially heard about this from a guy named Rob Wolf, who was like one of the early people who was into like whole food paleo stuff.
Okay.
And he was like, well, tequila is from an agave plant and so. I don't drink, but when I drink this because it's good for you. It kind of tastes like tequila. And the first time I tried it, I was like, man, this thing is great. I feel good. I don't like get hangovers from it. I mean, I haven't pounded like 6 of them, you know.
Sure.
But I mean, if doing what we're doing today, if we're doing some day drinking, we're hanging out, maybe grilling some meat, and I had portitol, one of these, good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah.
So if I'm rating it, I'm giving it like it's a real good one. It's like a 8.9.
That's an ungodly number.
That's a high number.
Yeah. I think somebody's exaggerating. That's a ridiculously high number.
What's your number?
Well, for a tequila, because I mean, that's like automatically like a -4.
Right.
But,
your tequila scale is different.
So my tequila scale probably tips at a 6.
Where do you think it tops out at a 6?
I think it tops out at a 6. This is in the 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's really not.
I don't know if your girlfriend will drink it all, but she'd probably appreciate that it's healthy, you know?
Yeah.
She might try it.
She likes healthy.
Yeah.
But she's also notorious for drinking peanut butter whiskey. So,
oh God, I
which is
haven't tried
not healthy
that.
at all.
I haven't tried that.
That's trouble.
Do you think it tastes decent?
Oh yeah,
Peanut butter whiskey.
yeah, too decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little much. The old.
Do you just drink it on the rocks or something?
Or just not even just shoot it. It's smooth.
It's really.
Yeah, you don't get the bite. But the more I
What
drink
proof is
whiskey, it's 70 something. Yeah, whenever you cut it with the sweets and whatnot, it lowers some of its proof.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, doesn't burn at all. Like it's like the burn's gone, or there's like a tiny little bit of burn. So, but yeah, that's her fave.
What's your stance on Fireball?
Fireball's got way too much sugar in it, but it drinks easy enough. Yeah, but yeah, Fireball's just sugar, like cinnamon sugar.
So
like
peanut butter whiskey is higher on the scale than Fireball?
Yeah, I'd probably take peanut butter whiskey over Fireball for sure, but neither of which would I typically drink. Every once in a while, a little bit of that Screwball is what that's called, is that peanut butter whiskey. But yeah, that one's fine. But and I think that they actually sponsor what is the Kill Tony? Yeah, I've seen a like sign behind them in those that's sponsored by Screwball, which I believe Screwball was actually created here in Spokane.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could have sworn I was told that.
I'd like
it's
to
from here
learn
originally.
more history on that.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised at.
there's a bottle of it in there I can grab if you want to read it. I got a bottle right over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here, I'll grab it. Hang on.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm actually surprised that you mentioned who sponsored Kill Tony, and I don't know who else sponsors them, but man, I haven't seen a lot of gambling ads in a lot of people's content from like DraftKings and stuff. They're paying a lot of money in marketing.
Not a lot of information on here, but
This is the deal, though. This is what you guys are. You guys like this?
that's her jam.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yep, that's her favorite.
Yeah, it doesn't have a point of origin.
Yeah, I guarantee I can Google it real quick. Hang on, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I've had like 20 messages.
Yeah, Google it, young Jamie.
I will. I'm on it. My internet needs to go, though. Here we go.
We also have what is the spice company? Spiceology?
Spiceology's from here. Yes.
Yeah, Spiceology makes good stuff.
National Good Company. All right. Where is Screwball from? Oh, it says San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego. I don't know why somebody told me it's from here. Hang on, now I'm reading. Yep, headquarters is in Concept Flavor Awards. Yeah, there you go, San Diego.
Well, as we close out the year here, do you know about how many listens the podcast did?
I'm not privy to that information. That's usually
we
in
just
your
talked
deal.
about it with Dodds.
I don't remember what. I don't remember. What was
It's
it?
going to be about 1 million.
Really?
About 1 million downloads.
Wow.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, a lot of archery interested knuckleheads out there, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know how big the cap size is on a couple rednecks sitting by the fire talking about stuff, but yeah, 1 million seems like a lot.
Sounds like it to me, but I don't know.
It's interesting, and like because
Seems like nothing when I see a Joe Rogan one. Like,
Right.
oh, that's got 30 million
Yeah.
views on it. Like, oh goodness.
we don't have any way to ballpark it really, you know,
No.
but it seems good.
Yeah, 1 million seems like a lot. I don't know.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, you have any resolutions for the new year there, Timothy?
Not really, you know. I'm kind of a thinker.
Yeah.
When I have downtime, a lot of times I'm just stewing about what might be next, or what I want to accomplish. And it's a real interesting time of life. If I'm being completely honest, I really don't know what like the next big thing is or thing I want to work towards. And it's honestly been worrying me a little bit because I've kind of always had hey, I want to do this. I want to open my own business. I want to, I want to get to this point financially or whatever. There's always kind of been a marker that I'm a goalpost I'm working towards. And yeah, I don't really have a real big thing other than I heard something that I thought was interesting from, I don't know who it was. I'd love to give him credit, but in a time of that where it's like an in-between time, how do you go about finding the next thing or working towards the next thing or finding your next goal? And they were saying like, just be building valuable skills. If you're in a point at which you don't know what that next thing is, make sure you're working on valuable skills. So I think I just want to make sure I kind of hit the reset button, make sure I'm working hard and building skills that are new to me, and just being open to what the next thing is that's like a career goal or goal in general. It's always real hard for me to define what I want YouTube in particular to be, because YouTube, I have a personal joy making videos, and I really like that, and I like making stories and sharing them, and the community side of it has been a real bonus. I appreciate the hell out of the community that has been built from YouTube.
Yeah.
And
for the most part,
that
it's
was
a very good place.
Yeah, that was unknown to me that would happen. So I feel sometimes like, man, I gotta get one out for the boys, like I gotta make a cool video for the boys or the crowd or whatever. So the community side of it is cool, but it's hard to define like what you want YouTube to be, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
So from that particular aspect, like, I think I've wrapped my head around, I just want to put out good stories when I can put out good stories. If that's twice in 1 week, that's cool. If it takes me a couple weeks to wrap my head around something great, really interesting to share, I'll do that, because I just don't want to put mediocre shit on the internet.
Sure. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's good. You don't want to rush your process, whatever it is. That
It's
you
an
wanna
ebb and
do,
flow,
right?
you know, there's a
Yeah.
balance. Yeah.
And I get the original plan you had and the goals you had and the structure around it. And it's hard to put structure around things like that, you know.
It really is, yeah.
We've tried really hard in this to make sure we're putting out an episode every Monday, right? And
Yeah.
there's been a couple times where we couldn't, and then there's been a couple planned times where we're not going to.
Yeah.
But it does get stressful, and feeling at some point it does feel a little forced. Just a little bit, not bad. It's not. I mean, I can ramble for hours and not, have it be an issue. But it's always nice that there's something significantly important to discuss instead of seeing what we can discuss.
Yes, that's a
or
good
where
point.
we will
Yeah.
go. And there's almost always something interesting to talk about, But when you're having that structure, you end up with like, okay, well, what do you want to talk about? Well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Or let's just start recording and see what happens.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
That's usually not a good idea. I think it
Yeah.
can work in the podcasting world a
Not
little
on a
bit,
video,
but
though.
it's usually not a good idea.
Not on a video.
Not on a video, no.
Not on a video.
No,
You
that's
can't just say, turn it on, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
But even though I've made a ton of videos.
Unless
in
you're a
my life,
real interesting, dynamic person, maybe.
Yeah.
But
No, I've made a ton of videos in my life where it's like, here, talk about this product. Zero prep.
yeah.
Okay. Works out okay most of the time, but it's good to have some kind of structure and plan around
But
it.
in that situation, you at least had a North Star. Hey, I'm
Sure.
talking about this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you at least have something picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I've decided what my goal is for next year.
What's that?
Is to figure out how to stop a little more.
That's a good goal. Yeah.
Because I'm getting a little concerned with myself.
Yeah.
Like I haven't stopped, and I think it's starting to get to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Not bad or anything. I just like when I got back from this last little jaunt of like my Mexico trip was precursored by I was here for a day and a half, and then I was in Nashville for 7 days. Like I don't know which way is up half the time. And it's starting to wear on me a little bit. And it's still fun and exciting, and you feel like you're really doing a lot and accomplishing a lot and experiencing a lot. Those are all really good things, but you also got to stop and take a break. And I'm just not doing that, at all. Like I'm just running from thing to thing to thing, and I think I need to try to put in there a little bit more designated. I'm just not doing anything this weekend. Like, because even when it's like go all week long, go as hard as you can, then all right, I need to go up to the property and
I was
work
going
on
to say,
this.
what a lot of people don't understand is like you might go all week long, but then you'll do a couple hours up north to the property to go accomplish something up there. And then that's not like a restful weekend, typically,
I tried to forcefully make half of each day when I'm up there relaxation.
Yeah.
But it's winter. I got a cart a track machine up there. It's risky to stay warm up there with what I have this time of year. So it's not like I can really go up there. Not like I really could want if I wanted to. Like I don't have time. Like if you don't count my hunt as days off, which it should be, but if you don't count them as that, I haven't had a day off in 3 weeks. Like, and I'm probably going to work through this weekend because I got to get more content made. So when I'm gone on this next jaunt, which is like 2 weeks, my channel doesn't go 2-3 weeks without a video. And it's a lot. I need to find a better way. I do need to film things when I'm down there too, because that would take and alleviate some of the pressure off. Plus, we're by the time this airs, we should be open. Like occupancy should be achieved. We should be open.
Occupancy achieved.
Yeah, like you can legally let people in the building.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But if we're not open before Christmas, we'll be open shortly after Christmas, and I'll be down there the 27th through the 5th, just working on stuff. Largely, probably working on getting my YouTube studio up and finishing off some things in there, making sure Matt knows all the ins and outs of the system, because it seems like he's got it. But if I'm around, questions might come up.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Try to find me just a little bit of downtime.
Yeah.
Force myself to take some downtime.
Yeah, you can create you can create a few boundaries that might help you out, whether that's a certain night of the week you're done by this time or whatever that is,
Yeah, I got to do something.
That's a good way to do it.
Like the day since I've been back, I've been working on the kitchen when I get done working
Right.
until 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Like, you dumbass, just stop. Just stop. Just sit down and relax. And there was a game on last night. It ended up being a really entertaining game. I watched 4 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Like I watched the last 2 minutes and 34 seconds of it. And I got up like 3 times to go run back into the kitchen and work on something because I'm gutting the kitchen. Like, God, I need to stop. I really need to stop.
Yeah, you can create a few boundaries, maybe a few habits, and then. But the harder thing I think will probably be you're going to have to say, here are the things I want to get done, but what are the things that I reasonably can get done, and then some things will get X'd, or maybe they get delegated, or whatever. But you can't always say, one more, because 5 pounds of shit only fits in a 5-pound bucket,
I'm aware. Doesn't it break down over time and eventually fit more in the bucket?
Yeah, it breaks down and then it explodes one day.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, that's the scary part. I didn't I hated traveling, and now I'm starting to really get used to it, and it doesn't bother me at all. Flights, bumps, all that stuff doesn't bug me. Dude, when I got to the Denver airport on the way down to Tucson, I had a really big layover. I had like a 4-hour layover, and I just found one of the little chair things that has like 3 or 4 no armrests in between. Dude, I took a nap. I just laid all my crap down, took my coat and stuffed it under my head and just laid down. I think I slept for an hour and a half.
That's how you know you're spending some time in some airports, when you start sleeping in them.
Well, and like I had just gotten back to Spokane for 36 hours or something like that and turned around and left again. And I had to wake up early and sign into my flight the day before, so I did not get one good night of sleep. Like I had to wake up early and both days. And the flight that leaves out of here that I like to get on that goes to Nashville is 5 a.m. departure. So you really got to be at the airport like 3:30, especially if you're taking
or whatever.
Well, dude, you remember how the what it was like when we went? It's been like that or worse every time I've gone. And I've gone like in the middle of the week. I've gone on the weekend. It doesn't matter. Like the what do you call it? Security takes.
Did you get TSA pre yet?
No, I'm going to. I did get clear. So the bigger airports have where you just like basically walk through. My sister has that, and when we were in Nashville, because she came down and helped me, she signed me up for it. And
does she live in Nashville or something?
No, she had airline miles. It was free.
Oh, I didn't know she was there. Yeah.
And I was staying at the hotel like right next door, and you could get a 1 king or 2 queen room for the same amount of money.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, well, you want to go? I just switch my king to 2 queens, and you can fly for free, and I'll pay for all your food. She's like, sweet, I'm coming.
That's cool.
So yeah,
it's nice to have that home.
I think I was only there by myself for a day. She was there the rest of the time, and incredibly helpful. Did a ton of electronic stuff, just a ton, signing things in, registering things. There's so much paperwork you have to do. And it's pretty much almost all done. I think we've got just about every company squared away. And there's a decent amount of product in the store. It's pretty painful to have 20, 30 Matthews bows sitting in there that everybody wants, and you can't sell them one.
Oh, I bet.
Because I don't know if there's any down there right now, to be honest. We have probably 20 or 30 up here, but we've probably sold 30 or 40 already. So...
Yeah, I actually think that's going to be gangbusters based on just the feedback I've heard from people. Like, people are stoked within a couple hour radius.
Yeah. Well, and it's a 6-hour drive in any one given direction is like more than half of the country's population.
Right.
So that's wild.
Crazy.
Like I never even thought of that, but that's why so many things ship out of Nashville.
Yep.
It's because it's one of the cheapest places to actually ship product out of. Mm-hmm. It's wild. Amazon's building the largest building, like the second largest building in the United States, just outside of Nashville, just for shipping.
That's a good indicator of that.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of potential.
If the Juggernaut decided that's a good place to ship a lot of stuff out of, you probably ought to listen.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a very good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping not chewing ice on camera.
You don't want to chew ice on camera?
Well, it probably sounds terrible for the people at home. Yeah.
Yeah, your mouth's pretty close to that mic doing that.
I know. I know. Yeah. But yeah, it's I always get excited about a new year, and I start to get excited in December. I always do. I like a new year for turning that page and dialing stuff in. I never really feel like I have New Year's resolutions that are like, bam, I'm going to do this on January 1. But sometime about the beginning of December, middle of December, I'm ready to just kind of clean the plate, start fresh, and yeah, I like a new year for that reason. I've been getting back in the gym the last month, and then the new year kind of got me spurred on that. It's like, hey, let's dial it in. We need to rein it in here, and
There you go.
feels real good, man. Like my mental energy is just so much better if I've gotten a hard workout in. I think there's just something about it. Like, men we're designed to do hard work.
Yeah, there's a lot of validity to that. I mean,
We're designed to do hard work.
Yeah, we're built for it. We
Whether
just
that's friggin' splitting firewood or, building stuff or whatever. For the desk jockeys like me, I gotta go get a workout in.
That's wise, man.
And I feel real good and clear when I do,
It's one of the fortunate things for most of what I've done is I'm never sitting still.
No, you get a lot of steps in.
So yeah, it's crazy. Like crazy. A lot of movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't hurt to go to the gym though. I know.
I know.
Just where do I find the time?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think Dan and me and you will have to just put you on a schedule for a month.
God.
And you'll have to just go work out with Dan over there.
Well, that is close. That is true. Easy access. He's in Texas right now, I think, hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Texas. Haven't heard back from him yet, so he's probably not back yet.
The more challenging thing, would be locking Dan into a schedule to work out, because he and I worked out on a schedule for a while, but he's just bouncing around, man. He'll always get a workout in, but it's not always
It's hard knowing when it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt that. He's always bouncing all over the place. Go.
Yeah.
Very, very similar in that regard. That there's just not an off very well. He's gotten good though about leaving work at work. That was one of the things about doing this is his work's here and then he drives home, and he does not take anything home other than he does upload videos from home because his internet's a lot faster at home. But outside of that, he does not take a computer home. He does not take work home. Other than just here, upload these videos to YouTube, walk away.
Yeah.
So, and that I will agree that Starlink works really good other than trying to upload a large file. Takes a long time. Same with the streaming one I have from Liberty Lake here. It's Patera. It doesn't upload very fast. And I think that's what you kept experiencing when you had to come grab my file from me that wouldn't upload when I tried it twice. Because you let it go for like hours and it still didn't go up. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Just didn't grasp how big these files are.
Yeah.
They're large.
Quite large.
Large and in charge.
Yeah, I hope the people appreciate that, because we shoot everything in 4K, and a 4K file is twice as big as a 1080 file if they're of the same back end. And not all files are created the same, but if it's off the same camera, typically a 4K file is twice as big as a 1080 file. So we shoot in 4K, and the files are quite large.
Pretty sure you said 4K like 5 times there.
Yeah. You probably haven't seen it yet, but have you seen the Seek 1 video with Lee shooting the public land buck?
Well, aren't they all him shooting a public land buck?
No, he shoots a lot of them on private with permission.
Oh, okay.
Small tracts of land, like city bucks.
I think I might have, because when how long ago did it come out?
Like 2 days ago. Yesterday.
No, I haven't seen it then.
Okay. Well, you and I got to meet Lee in Texas.
Good dude.
Yeah. And he's having quite a year. He shot a mega buck already in Ohio. And he published the video of him shooting. He said it was his second buck he shot on public land. And he said that where he saw that buck from, a highway was not too far from.
Wow.
And it looked big on video. For some reason, I had it in my head that when he shot it, I remember the number 160. And I don't know where that came from. Maybe it was something I made up. But this was not a 160 buck. This was a 190 buck.
Yeah, I was going to say 160 is not that big. I mean, it's a nice buck.
It's big. A whitetail is big.
Whitetail is big.
Yeah.
160. I've got one buck that's 160.
It's a big buck, but it's a 190 buck that he shot on public in Kansas, I believe, with the sickest footage you've ever seen.
Really? I'll have to watch that.
It's got water flying off his bow, water flying off his arrow. He sat in the rain for like an hour or something waiting for this deer to get up. And man, I think I've seen most of the cool hunt videos through the years, and it might be the coolest kill shot footage you will ever see.
I'll look that
It's
up
amazing.
Today. I'll look that up. That'll be cool.
It's really amazing from a footage perspective, from a storytelling perspective, and just leaking it down on public land. Like, he's got this like horseshoe in his. It's got like a horseshoe in his
pooper.
Yeah, in his boxer briefs right now, and it's freaking amazing, dude. Yeah.
You feeling your tequila there, buddy?
A little.
Got a little decent buzz going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You seem a little chiller than normal. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean,
you got a little bit of a laid back structure
I would
to
get
you.
going.
Might have to sneak you in a drink here and again.
Yeah. No, it's nice. I've always liked how tequila made me feel too. Like,
yeah, this is. If I had tequila, I'd have it this way.
yeah,
I really would. And it's like I said, it's supposed to be good for you. So, as far as liquor is concerned, as good as liquor can get for you. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah,
it's
good.
nice.
Yeah, you made a good drink there, sir.
Right on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go somewhere. So maybe that is the tequila setting in.
Yeah, you're normally
Yeah.
If it's not the end of the episode, you're usually trying to jump on something real quick.
What
and
did
there's a bit of a pause going on here? Yeah.
Oh, you have a hunt coming up.
Yeah. Well, I think I've got 2 more now. Like I said, I have to decide on the last one here, which I can't really turn down. It's more a matter of how many people are going to get upset that I'm gone again. Because it's, I think I need to make sure I'm home at least 15 days out of the month. Like I don't think I can be gone more than that. It gets too difficult. And trying to balance all that can be tricky. But so the next hunt I go on is in San Antonio with Dan.
Yep.
I'll be down there already. I'll be in Austin for a couple of days before he gets into San Antonio, and then him and the landowner are going to drive up to Austin, and we're going to do a video at Archery Country down there. Which I need to reach out to that owner and see if he'll sit down and let me interview him, find out his backstory, get a little bit on him. Yeah,
I'd like to learn more about it because I just hear that name. I hear Archery Country, but I don't know.
It's one of the biggest shops in the country.
Yeah, I don't know much about the inner workings.
Yeah. So I figured that would probably be worthwhile. I just need to get his phone number, which I'm sure I can.
Yeah.
But I've got other things going on down there, but I'll try to squeeze that in.
That's a whitetail hunt, though?
Yeah, it's whitetail. Whitetail in San Antonio, and then fly back to Spokane. Originally I had bought those tickets like 3 months ago, and Dan booked the tickets and said, you got to book these in the next 2 days. Make sure we're on the same flights and blah, blah, blah. And then the Nashville thing happened, and I'm like, well, why don't I just go to Nashville and then fly from Nashville to there and try to bookend it that way? So I managed to refund my, or I haven't done it yet, but I've got to refund my flight down. I refunded my flight back from Tucson, easy enough, but the flight was already done, or the front end of the flight was done, so it was easy to refund it. I think I have to call them to say, hey, I still want my return flight, but I want my outgoing flight refunded, or as a credit. Which I still got to figure out how to use that credit. But yeah, just fly, go.
Man on the move.
Yeah, it's a lot, but.
So your next opportunity, you said potential February.
Yes, well, no, the Texas hunt is in January. It's like January 8th or 9th, something like that, and outside of San Antonio. And then the possible coos deer hunt in
that's what I was wondering, if it was for coos or for mule deer.
It's for coos, and it's like February 1st. And the guys at Victory, so I guess there's a ranch down there that, or 3 ranches that they actually sell all the tags for. They're all primarily archery coos ranches, and they've sold them every year. Well, they had 3 guys that had deposits that backed out, so they decided as a company to just pay the other part of it and invite like 3 of their best dealers. So, and I got that call while I was in Mexico already. Like, hey, you want to go to Mexico and hunt coos deer? I was like, well, I'm in Mexico hunting mule deer right now. I don't see why not. When is this thing? So, yeah, we'll see. It's I keep looking at the schedule of, okay, which tax am I going to go to? And obviously I have to go to the Tennessee one, right? Because I have a shop in Tennessee. See, they have 2 in Montana now.
I didn't know if it was 2 formally yet. I know they added Red Lodge.
I'm trying to remember who I talked to just yesterday or something, but it said there's both.
Oh, okay.
Like it's both. It's not.
It'd be interesting.
It's not changing, because I heard it was changing, but then somebody told me, it's like, no, they're both on there.
Could be.
I'm like, wow, 2 of them.
As of like a couple days ago, I saw that TAC was commenting the schedule wasn't finalized because people were asking about Big Sky, but it might have came in since then, so I don't know.
I don't know why they would do 2. Those aren't that far apart.
Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of people.
Well, I know
they've
had issues with the management of the Big Sky one, and it's so expensive to stay there.
I was gonna say, as cool as Big Sky is, the difficulty is lodging. There's only a finite amount of lodging in that small town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's all expensive. So if you choose to go to that one, you're going to end up paying more. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah.
To go. So, but definitely want to do the Tennessee one. I don't see how I can not do the Pennsylvania one because that's like the biggest one now.
it's the most requested.
It's the most requested. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say I put that out at one point, and that's the one I saw the most too.
Yeah,
So probably have to do Pennsylvania, and I'll probably bookend that with going to Nashville and then going to Pennsylvania and then flying home, that sort of thing. But I don't see me getting away with doing less than 4 of them.
tax.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just with what I got going and where they are, and I got to do one of the Montana ones for sure. And I got to go back to Utah. That one was great, and I'm kind of pissed I didn't get to do it last year because that was a great one. And it's if you drive, it's only 12 hours.
yeah. Supposedly we're already booked into Utah, so
I still haven't been told that,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes that's how these things
Old
go.
Danny boy. the pipes, they're calling.
Yeah, I don't know what freaking tax I want to do. I really don't.
Well, you're doing Tennessee. You're going. If you don't go, I'm going to get pissed.
Tennessee. Well, I'm going to Tennessee. Brandon's
Yeah, he's Brandon's gone.
put us up in something cool.
Yeah.
Probably.
I may front it myself just to encourage you and James and Brandon to come back to that.
Well, Brandon, he can put us up. He's got spots.
Sure. Well, this isn't so. It's not that close to Nashville.
Oh,
It's
a
not
little
like
ways
it's
away.
not in Nashville. It's a ways away. Like I was looking at it on a map, and I'm like, it looks like it's at least an hour or 2 away. I'm not sure you're driving back and forth, but it is south, and Brandon lives south, and then so I have to figure out where it is.
There's logistics there or whatever.
There's logistics to where we're probably renting somewhere else it's probably outside of Brandon's Airbnb pervy. But that one's a for sure. You're going. I said it. Deal with it.
Well, I think I can see in the end of my tunnel. I think I can see 300 now,
Yeah.
and I think I can scheme my way there.
Yeah.
It's close. Yeah, I've had a couple shootings recently.
So you're getting a picture into what Tim may be like with a little bit of a buzz.
Too much ice in my mouth. Shot my bow a couple times recently. Had a couple really clean streaks in a row, and I can start to just kind of picture how it might happen. And part of it involves a light button.
Hot button.
And I think the other part of it involves practice.
Yeah, definitely some practice in there.
Being the first part.
Yeah.
And I think the third part is a lot of weight on my bow.
Those all sound like common things for trying to achieve a 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. What speaking of, what bow are you going to use? Have you decided for sure?
I haven't decided. I want to.
They've all been out. So
I know. I want to. I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards the Hoyt because it really felt like I put it in my hand and I was like, I can almost not tilt this off axis.
Yeah.
I almost can't tilt it off axis. And from a criteria perspective, when it comes to a hunting bow, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I'm thinking about, what's it like to carry around? What are the features like? How is it going to work in the environments I want to hunt? How is it going to work at some of these 3D events? Like I kind of want to mix those things together. But when it comes to a target bow, I mean, really all I want is features almost, I don't want to say they're relevant, but they don't matter that much. I just want a bow that points and holds and feels okay to shoot as well. Because if you're going to put a lot of arrows through a bow, I think you want the cycle to feel all right.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a bow out this year, that's probably the most intriguing target bow. I think you're barking up the right tree there, personally.
It's very interesting.
It's the biggest transition for them. It's just whether or not that cam actually really points good and shoots good.
It feels
like
like
a new
it.
cam. It looks like it would.
Yeah.
But it's a new system for them. So that's always a question mark area until you actually really start putting reps through it.
And it has some early season buzz, which you can, sometimes put weight into, sometimes not. You don't know if it's just buzz or if there is something behind it, but
nobody's going to spend that kind of money and say the bow's not amazing.
Right.
You're going to look like an idiot. Spend two G's and go, this thing's a turd.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be buzz. Just see if, Bodie's got one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodie's tearing it up, but Bodie tear it up with anything.
I know. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so good. I think he should just take like a Lift X29 and beat everybody with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all those guys who are really, really good, they just talk about forgiveness. And I mean, forgiveness for someone who's just okay, it's almost like, what is that thing?
Mm-hmm.
What is that thing you're talking about? Because when I point my bow in the right area, it seems to go in the right area. And when I point my bow away from that, it also seems to go away from that. So I'm not
What
sure.
a novel concept.
I'm not sure exactly what forgiveness means, but maybe I'm probably not there. Yeah. Do you have a target bow? Have you started weeding towards that?
I honestly don't even think I'm going to pick one up.
Okay.
I don't think I have time. Like, when am I going to do that?
Right.
Like, I can't pick that. I already got, so the issue number one is that Tennessee TAC is the same weekend as Reading. So I'm not going to Reading. I'm not taking a target boat attack. So then the other thing would be like Lancaster or Vegas. And Vegas is in March now, not in February. And Lancaster is like really super close to that hunting trip option.
Yeah.
Like, it's in January. It's coming up quick.
Are you going to consider an ASA option?
I'll try to go to an ASA for sure.
Yeah.
I think that'll schedule out better and give me an option.
And I think I want your perspective of an ASA because the events seem to be really big. Like, they draw a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And they're all kind of clustered in the Southeast and Midwest. It's like, if it's a national circuit, man, you think they could get a couple Western events on the schedule somewhere?
There's a, Joel told me about it. There's a Canadian circuit, and it actually gets kind of close. I think it's like a 13-hour drive or something to get to the closest one that's in Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah. But no, it's just ASA's always been down there and should branch out.
Yeah. Well, and particularly with your Tennessee branch.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that community and area will really appreciate being able to walk in and play with target bows.
Yeah.
Because who's stocking those things, right?
Right. Yeah.
Other than this dumb guy, for some reason. This dumb guy.
This guy. Mm-hmm. Who's got 2 thumbs and stocks too many target bows?
Way too many. God. Yeah. And the crappy part of it is when they come out with a new bow or they change it, because you can't discount them until they discontinue it.
Sure.
Right? I have to abide by their pricing until they choose not to make the product anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas most places are probably discounting that bow well before because they know it's going away, but it hasn't gone away. Right? So I end up taking it in the shorts on a pretty good amount of them. Like the last cycle of Hoyts made me want to die. I still have probably 20 plus of their older target bow. And I haven't looked, but we marked down all the last year's titles because they added that tuning feature into them. And there was a good 20 of them. But I know we marked them down pretty good, so I think we probably sold some of them. But I'd have to go look.
Well, here's the interesting thought, too, is because of where my draw length falls, like I'm 28.5 to 29, depending. But in most target bows, there's a shorter and a taller version. Like with Hoyt, for example, there's a 37 and a 40. And their 37 maxes out at 29, which is the most efficient end of the cam. So what do you think? Shoot them both and see?
I've traditionally liked the 37, 38-inch size.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bigger than you.
Yeah.
There's guys that shoot the 40s. It's like too big in my head.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, I shot Sean Vincent's a little bit, and man, it really held nice. And he had a 37. So I've always thought, man, I need as much riser as I can get because it's going to help me out. But I hear both sides of it. I've also heard people say sometimes with a longer riser, you might get a little more teeter. And I like being towards the end of the cam because you're going to get, the most efficiency out of
You get
it.
the most poop out of it,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting thoughts to ponder. Little Christmas special. We wanted to hang out with you guys and just really sit down and talk. Kind of end of year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different episode. Have a little.
A little drinky. You finish yours off already?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got a little in the bottom here. I've been nursing this to kill you.
Yeah. Have a little libation and hang out.
There's
Not every
definitely some pulp in here.
It's nice.
Not bad.
Not every episode's like this, but yeah. Appreciate you guys. Fire's out. Anything you want to close with?
Hope you all have a fantastic Christmas and a happy New Year. And what's the best way to put this? We have a lot of positive things to look forward to.
Exciting year coming up.
And I think that we have an opportunity to bridge the gap of separation that we've had as a country. We really do. We have an opportunity to take the people that wouldn't tolerate other people and embrace them and let them see some tolerance of a different point of view, and maybe it changes them. But I don't know if it's been a long time since I've been this optimistic.
Yeah.
I feel really good about our future as a country and as people.
Yeah.
So, for everybody who feels differently or indifferent about things, it's okay to have a different point of view. That's
right.
And we need to all remember that just because somebody has a different point of view from you doesn't make it wrong.
Right.
And that's good words to live by.
Yeah, I echo those feelings. I'm really excited for the new year. I hope you have something you're excited about, something you're working towards. And if you don't, you're on your grind, enjoying your life, working hard, but also finding a little balance when you need it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could just go to take a nap for 2 days. I'd probably feel a lot better.
Yeah.
But I don't have time. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I'll find a balance. It'll work out.
Appreciate y'all.
Or I'll die.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.